Some people believe fate can't be changed. Others try to rewrite it. But in this story, one woman's defiance against death itself sets off a curse that will stalk her bloodline for generations, and no one will escape its reach. 1968, the night that should have ended everything. It was a night meant for celebration. The grand opening of the Skyview Tower, a glittering high-rise restaurant perched above the city. The music was loud, the dance floor alive with couples swaying under crystal chandeliers. Among them, a young woman named Iris Campbell and her fiancé Paul. But in the middle of the laughter and champagne, Iris froze. A sudden vision, vivid and horrifying, flooded her mind. In it, the floor cracked open and beneath it, a leaking gas main exploded, turning the night into a fiery massacre. She could feel the heat, hear the screams, and watch as a towering structure collapsed into rubble. The vision faded, but the panic it left behind was real. Iris acted quickly, dragging Paul and as many people as she could out of the tower. Moments later, just as in her vision, the disaster began, but her interference disrupted the sequence, saving every single person who would have died that night. What Iris didn't know was that death has a design, and when you interrupt it, there's a price. Decades later, college student Stephanie Reyes begins waking up in cold sweats. Her dreams are always the same, the Skyview collapsing in flames, strangers dying around her, and a strange sense that the disaster is somehow hers to prevent. She tries to ignore it until one day, the truth clicks. Iris Campbell, the woman in her dreams, was her grandmother. She returns home, where her father Marty greets her with a cautious smile, and her estranged brother Charlie barely looks up from his phone. Family tension hangs heavy in the air. Soon, the siblings travel to visit their cousins Eric, Julia, and Bobby, Uncle Howard, Aunt Brenda. When Stephanie asks about Iris, Howard's face hardens. He recalls a childhood under Iris's obsessive protection, how she locked down their lives after the Skyview incident. Eventually, her own daughter Darlene, Stephanie's mother, left unable to handle the paranoia. Brenda, more sympathetic, slipped Stephanie a bundle of old letters that lead her to a fortified cabin deep in the woods. Inside the cabin, Stephanie finds her grandmother, older now, frail and terminally ill. Iris reveals a secret she's carried for decades. By stopping the Skyview disaster, she broke Death's plan. Death came back, killing the survivors one by one in the order they would have died that night, and then moving on to their children and grandchildren who were never meant to be born. She shows Stephanie a leather-bound journal filled with dates, names, and eerie drawings of accidents yet to happen. Before Stephanie can process it, she steps outside the cabin. Iris followed her outside and allows a falling weather vane to impale her, sacrificing herself to prove her point and to take herself off Death's list. After Iris's funeral, Stephanie's mother Darlene reappears, but Stephanie's resentment toward her absence simmers beneath the surface. The family gathers for a barbecue. What begins as a light-hearted afternoon turns deadly when chain of small accidents, a kickball, a tripped cord, a mower hitting a rock, sends a lawnmower's blade flying straight into Howard. The party ends in screams and blood. Stephanie, terrified, starts mapping the family tree. She realizes death is moving in generational order, starting with Howard's branch. No one believes her until the next strike. Later that night, Eric's tattoo shop catches fire from a freak electrical spark. He survives only because his leather jacket shields him from the flames. Stephanie and Charlie race to find him on the highway, hoping to keep him safe. But Death's patience is infinite and its plan already set, only for them to witness Julia being accidentally thrown into a garbage truck and is unable to save her from being crushed to death by the garbage truck's compactor, which crushes her before anyone can intervene. The gruesome scene finally convinces a family that Stephanie's warnings are real. They realize Marty and Brenda are safe, not being blood relatives, and even Eric, it seems, is spared until Stephanie learns he's a product of Brenda's affair. Death's list is shifted. Darlene suggests visiting a man named JB in hospital, someone Iris once trusted. They find William Bloodworth, now older but still with the same unnerving calm. He reveals that he too was at the Skyview that night, a child in Iris's vision. He spent his life studying Death's rules with her, and now he offers him two ways to escape. take someone else's life to claim their remaining time, or die temporarily and be revived. Bloodworth leaves him with a final wish for luck, knowing his own time will come when Iris's bloodline is gone. Eric persuades Bobby to try the second method. He hides nuts, which Bobby is severely allergic to, inside a snack, intending to revive him after the reaction. But in true Final Destination fashion, the plan collapses into chaos. A faulty magnetic resonance imaging machine rips Eric's piercings out and slams him into its magnetic field, killing him instantly. A vending machine coil dislodges moments later, drilling into Bobby's skull. Stephanie realizes too late that by interfering, Eric put himself on the list. Stephanie, Charlie, and Darlene retreat to Iris's cabin, hoping its reinforced walls can protect them. On the drive, a freak accident sends their recreational vehicle crashing. Stephanie's seatbelt jams as smoke begins to fill the cabin. Then, the unthinkable. A chain reaction ignites the fuel supply, blowing the cabin apart and hurling the recreational vehicle into a lake. Underwater, Stephanie struggles, lungs burning, as Charlie fights to cut her loose. Above, a falling lamppost slices Darlene in half. Charlie pulls Stephanie free and drags her to shore, reviving her with desperate cardiopulmonary resuscitation. A week later, as they prepare for prom, a neighbor casually mentions that Stephanie's heart never actually stopped, meaning her revival didn't count. Death's plan is still in motion. The ground shakes as a train derails nearby. Stephanie and Charlie dodge flying debris, believing they've escaped again, until a semi-truck's load of logs breaks loose, crushing them in a final brutal moment. The screen fades to black. If you enjoyed this recap, hit like, share, and subscribe to Viva Box Movies, where every time we bring you the stories that make you watch your back. Because in our world, death is never far behind.